Hey there, this is Sarah here, and I just wanted to do a quick video on some of the basics around iMovie. I'm going to show how to launch the application and start a new project, and then there are 6 major elements of working through iMovie that I think it would be helpful to get started. The first is to upload media, the second is to add a photo, third is to add transitions, fourth is adding audio, fifth is adding text and titles, and the sixth is to export your file when you're all done. So I'm going to start by opening the program. I am going to try to put timestamps in so you can skip ahead if there's something specific that you want to learn. So I'm going to create a new project, and the very first thing that I'm going to do after I select movie is to show you how to upload media. You have 3 major components right here. So we've got our media library right in the top left. This is where all of the media that we want to use in our project can go. Over here is our preview screen where we get to watch our movie before we actually save it, just to make sure that everything is the way that we want it. And down here at the bottom, we have our timeline. This is where we organize everything that we want to be a part of our project. So I'm going to start out by importing my base video. I've already recorded a read aloud video, so I want to use this as the basis for my project right now. So I'm going to import it, and I click that import button, and I'm going to select that video that I downloaded, and I'm going to click import selected. This is going to put it right into my media library where I can eventually drag it down into my timeline where I want it. But I also want to use a title slide for my project. So I'm going to put that in my media library as well, and then show you how to organize those in your timeline. So I'm going to go again to File, Import Media, and this time my photo that I want to use is on my desktop, so I'll click on that and select Lesson 5 cover. And so now I have a photo and a video in my media library, and I can put them in my timeline in whatever order I want. So I'm going to start by dragging down my photo, and right here where it says 4.0s means that it's going to be in that video for 4 seconds, and then it's going to transition to the next piece of media. So after that, I'm going to drag down my video, and I can scroll over and see where that starts. Right now things are looking kind of long, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that they're a little bit smaller. And now I can see my photo and my video. I'm going to give it a little preview to watch what happens. So I've got my photo up there for 4 seconds, and then it pops right into that video. So what I want to do is add a transition. When I add a transition, that's just going to make this photo fade into this video clip really seamlessly. So up at the top, I'm going to click on transitions, and I'm going to scroll through all my options. You can give them a little preview by hovering over them and watching your cursor go from left to right. And so I'm going to choose this slide right transition by clicking and dragging it down in between my photo and my video clip. I can preview this by clicking just before it and then clicking the play button. And I really like the way that that turned out, so I'm going to leave that alone. Another thing that you can add to your project is an audio file. You can upload your own by dragging and dropping or importing them into your media library, or you can use some of the built-in audio files in iMovie. So I'm going to look at my sound effects tab right here and look at my different options. You can preview a file by clicking on the play button right next to it. So I might listen for what this ambient hit sounds like. That's not really something that I want to use, so I'll scroll down to maybe this bell transition. And that sounds cute, so if I want to add it into my project, I can put it anywhere I want. Right now, for an example, I will click and drag it down to over this picture, and then we can sample what it looks like. So now we see the picture and we hear that sound at the same time. I just drag and dropped that audio file right down here. There are lots of little sound effects that you can scroll through. There are textures, transportation sounds like a sailboat, a car, sci-fi sounds. There are jingles, which are a lot longer than our sound effects are. So if you want background music, you can click through those and find something that you like. Another thing I wanted to show you how to incorporate into your video is text and titles. So you can hover over a specific spot in your video that you really want to have a title. So for example, maybe right here is where I ask a student a question. And so I want to click up here in my titles tab. I've got lots of different options. Again, I'm going to scroll through, see which one I like. And I might want to use this solid bar in white. So I'll click and drag that down here. And I'll just type in my question. So what are the 13 colonies could be the question that I ask. I'm going to delete that description bar because I don't need another line of text. And then I can preview it by clicking just before that title bar and clicking play. And then I can see if I like it. If I don't, I can always change it or click and delete it. But I'm pretty happy with the way that that looks right now. And so now I have all of the elements in my video that I want. Normally I would play it from start to finish, but I'm pretty confident with what I am looking at. So I'm ready to export my file. So when you're all complete, when you know that you have what you want, we can click this share button up in the top right corner. You have a lot of different options of how you can save it. I'm going to export it as a file just so I have it on my computer. And I am going to name it Lesson 5. And then I'm just going to click Next and choose where I want to save it on my computer. I'll save it to my Documents folder. And then I will click Save. It is going to take a little bit of time to export your file. We're turning it from this timeline into an MP4 file, so we've got to do a little bit of work on the back end to make sure that we get a really nice video file. So once it's done, once this wheel has filled itself all the way in, your file will be ready to go. You can send it, upload it, anything you need to do with it. I will go ahead and hit some of the other features of iMovie in another video, but for right now, that is all I've got. Feel free to reach out with any questions that you have.